So we're talking about women in the workplace, Vanessa, and I know for you as a writer-director in the film industry, one of your struggles was trying to work out what did strong look like as a woman.
Yeah.
Can you share that with us?
Definitely. So I remember for the longest time, I always felt like strength was synonymous with aggression. And I think I experienced that in several different, women that I saw in the industry in different ways. And I remember one job where I was working as a production assistant. I just saw these women, and they, in order to get ahead, in order to push themselves forward, they would use backstabbing, they would use manipulation, they would climb over one another. And it was just like this model in front of me that I thought, oh gosh, okay, so these are the women that I'm seeing in the industry. In order for me to actually get ahead, I'm going to have to become, it was an aggressive behaviour, and it was incredibly unattractive. Yeah. And I just saw that and I thought, I don't want to be that. But then at the same time, I felt like I was swung completely on the other side of it. So I was very, I allowed myself to be walked over. I allowed myself to become the scapegoat. I allowed myself to be kind and let things slide under the rug. And that's not strength either. And I think I saw these two polar opposites, obviously me just letting stuff just, be directed at me and just taking it without standing up for what I felt was right. And I kind of, thought, okay, something's not right. And it started the question of me thinking, well, what is strength? What does a woman of strength in the industry look like? Who is she? And amazing, I had an incredible mentor who I finished one job, went to work for another person who has just been an incredible model for me of what a strong woman in the industry looks like. And she embodies both, so she has like the boldness of a lion but the gentleness of a lamb. So it's, when people would do something that was wrong, she would confront the issue, but she would do it in a gentle way. It wasn't aggressive, but it wasn't allowing herself to be walked over, which was really interesting to watch, and it really challenged me in my journey of what does a strong woman look like. I remember when I first made my I did a short film, and I remember sort of making the short film, and it really challenged me in a whole bunch of these sort of questions of what does strength look like, how do I be a director, a female film director in the industry, and be confident and assertive. I remember two polar opposite experiences. One was when the very first short film that I made, I remember being on set, and I just remember there were so many voices around me telling me, this is the way you should do this shot, this is the way you should do this, and it was like everybody was undermining me, and I just let them railroad and tell me, and I just felt so unconfident, and I completely lost my confidence in that scenario, and to me that wasn't strength. But counter that, me kind of being the director that's like my way or the highway kind of, is also not strength. To me, some of the qualities of strength, I think, would be a confidence, having a confidence in yourself, having a confidence that I'm capable, and that for me it was really, I had to learn to trust my instincts. I remember at one point I did a short film. When I was doing the short film, I was, the script was, I went through like 10 drafts of the script, and there was a story consultant, and she would come and she would kind of rip it to shreds and sort of say, this is wrong and this is wrong, and for me it was being wise enough to be able to listen, to not to shut down the criticism, to be able to take that on board, but then also wise enough to know that some of my instincts about the character, some of my instincts about the story and where I feel it needs to be, I need to hold on to those, and I need to hold on to my vision and not be swayed left or right. And so it's for me a balance of taking on board criticism constructively, but then also holding firm to my gut instinct. And I had to do that several times through the process, and it was like choosing my battles. I had to really choose my battles that I fought. Another one that I really learnt along the journey of strength was the power of collaboration and actually admitting not having to be strong in every area. I don't have to, have all the strength. Strength isn't going, I can do X, Y, Z, and I'm, can wear every hat, and that makes me strong. Actually, I think strength is admitting weakness, and for me, it was very practically going, you know what, I know that I'm really strong, when it comes to story and character and working with the actors and being on set, but I know that I'm really weak when it comes to technical sides of how a camera works and operates. I'm totally weak, but if I try to pretend like I'm strong in that area, then I'm going to be found out for the fraud that I am, and the film's going to be worse off for it because I haven't brought on board help. So it's kind of bringing a team around you and actually not being afraid of being vulnerable or being weak, but knowing where your strengths lie, knowing where your weaknesses lie, and bringing a team around you that can support you in that area. The other one was just excellence. I think strength is doing whatever is in your hand to the best of your ability and giving your all.
Brilliant, thank you. Gosh, I feel like I need like a journal.
I'm taking notes.
Let's just say I'll definitely be watching this episode. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
If you were to give a word of encouragement to somebody listening, or a practical tip.
There's a bit of an unattractive feminism, if I can put it that way, where it is tearing down, and we don't want to. It's working alongside, and we want to respect one another, and male or female, it's respecting the qualities and strengths in each other, and working with those. And then the second point, I think takeaway for me is, for anybody watching really, is I think sometimes we can become very goal oriented in our sphere, so we can have the end goal in sight. And for me, it's just been a real process of actually learning that who I am speaks so much more volume than what I do. And who I am becoming on the journey is much more important than the final destination.
Great.
I love that. Take that. Thank you. Next time on the 7 series.
And so other days I'm like, no, I've got this job that I need to do, and I'm going to go do it really well, and so that my kids have got something to look up to as well.